Trying to recover from a broken down heart. It's so hard starting over, fighting your way in the dark. Memories of you haunt me every second of the day. They keep yelling at me in the silence they portray. Screaming in the night, wakes me up from my sleep. My eyes are soaking wet from all the tears that I weep. When you coming home is a question on my mind, but you never answer me, ignoring me.
Well, Wes, the NFC North gauntlet is getting underway. Packers and Vikings, time for final thoughts. All right, Wes, what's at stake?
You said it, Mike. The Green Bay Packers venture into the NFC North schedule, and it begins Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. 3 straight tilts against the division, 5 of the next 7 going against their NFC North rivals. The Packers have to get this thing started in the right direction.
Absolutely, and last year, we all know Green Bay went only 1-5 in division games. You've already got one division win from way back in week 1, so you want to improve on that. But also, this Minnesota Vikings team, they beat the Packers twice last year. They have won the last 2 meetings in a row here at Lambeau Field. There's a lot on the line for Green Bay to start turning this thing the other direction. Who's your guy and why, Wes?
Let's mix it up a little bit. I'm going with Chris Brooks this week.
Right.
The Packers pass protecting extraordinaire in the backfield. There are a lot of questions right now as far as what's going to happen with Josh Jacobs. Emmanuel Wilson stepped up, obviously, too, last week. But this Brian Flores defense is going to throw the sink at you in terms of blitzes. And Chris Brooks could be a really useful guy for Green Bay to have to protect Jordan Love, just like he did last week against the Giants. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. It's a complete Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, I like that. And I'll go on the defensive side with cornerback Carrington Valentine. We have seen his competitiveness, Wes, and the way he gets up in receivers' faces and makes things difficult. He was so close last week to a couple of interceptions in that Giants game. It just feels like number 24 is due. Wes, I don't like to oversimplify, but I'm going to say the Packers win this game if they catch the football, and I'm talking about really both sides of the ball. The offense had too many drops last week against the Giants. The defense let too many interception opportunities get away. J.J. McCarthy, the young quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, has not gone through any of his 5 starts in the NFL so far without throwing an interception. J.J. McCarthy throws you one, you got to catch it.
Great point, Mike. And for me, I think the Packers win this game if late season Jordan Love keeps playing like late season Jordan Love. I mean, this has been his type of football weather. I don't know what it is about it, but you look at the numbers, the last 8 games of the season brings out the best in number 10. If you go look back to that game against the Giants, they don't win that matchup if he doesn't play the way he did down the stretch. Green Bay needs more of that magic. Guys catch the football, Jordan Love throws touchdowns, the Packers win ball games.
All right, I like that. And with that, we will sign off on this edition of Final Thoughts. Be sure to follow all of our coverage of Sunday's game from Lambeau Field on Packers.com and all of your social media channels. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the ball game.
Yo, this is Jordan Love, and for My Cause, My Cleats, I'm supporting Bakersfield Police Activities League. Okay. Take them out. These are nice right here. Yeah. Some clean cleats right there. Nice white cleat with the logo on there. I wanted to keep it pretty simple this year. You know, last year I kind of had some rainbow colored cleats, so this year I wanted to keep it pretty simple and just obviously showcase the logo. I mean, this design fits me personally because I'm pretty simple, showcasing the colors of the logo for the Police Activities League and, you know, putting a little bit of yellow in there for us and a nice white cleat. This cause is important to me because growing up, my father, you know, was a Bakersfield police officer, and he was somebody who definitely helped out at the Bakersfield Police Activities League. You know, growing up, I was here at the PAL Center, you know, doing some great things and being around it, and obviously my dad was helping out, so it's a pretty cool cause.
It felt great just to go back out there with the guys and be able to fly around again, so that definitely felt great.
How is your foot and your collarbone feeling?
Everything feels great right now, so I'm just following the protocol and just, you know, waiting for my number to be called.
What's this whole process been like for you?
Whole lot of ups and downs, man. It's a lot of emotion, mixed emotions, and things that came with it. But you know, I got all the right people around me, you know, for prepare me for this moment. So.
Was there one or the other, the shoulder or the foot, that took longer to recover from?
I wouldn't really say. It kind of had, both of them had its days, pretty much. So some days collarbone was hurting more, some days foot hurt more, but I'm feeling pretty good now. So.
Is there a silver lining to be found there that you're able to take care of the foot and not have to deal with it all season long? Not that you wanted to miss a bunch of games, but.
Can you repeat that question?
Was there any silver lining at all that you have to get the foot taken care of during this time rather than trying to get through an entire season with it?
Yeah, that was more of a me thing, trying to work through it. But yeah, it definitely needed to be taken care of, and I'm glad everything happened the way it happened for me to be able to do that. So, yep, that's just where I'm at right now.
You had jumped out to a fast start this season.
Yeah.
Just won a touchdown in Detroit. You could say that would have been touchdown against Washington. Just how disappointing was it to have that setback after the way the season started?
It's all God's timing, man. I wasn't really disappointed, man. I was just excited for the next guy up. So because I know we got a lot of playmakers in the room. So I was just really excited for the next man, really. So I think everything happened for a reason. It was just God trying to tell me to help my foot out a little bit. So that's kind of how I took it.
When were you told that you'd be out here today, and what was your reaction to it?
It was kind of some talks early this week, and then we had to do a few more scans and stuff like that, and everything went well. So I kind of found out yesterday. So yep.
So what was the motivation behind the social media posts?
I was just excited, man. I was ready to get back out here, man. So that was it. I was just expressing my feelings on Twitter, how I felt.
I don't want to be insulting and say you're not playing Sunday off one day of practice, but when are you kind of targeting to?
I don't know, man. I'm just following the protocol. That's my job to, do what I'm told, and I'm just here to do that. So I don't know when I'll be back. So hopefully it's soon.
What are you most looking forward to when you do get back out there?
Man, just the excitement with the guys, man. Just running up, picking up my teammates, just smiling, laughing. Just the fun part of the game. I just want to get back to it. I miss it.
So I assume since you're back, we can now start saying Packers to the bowl.
Oh, man. I guess so, man. I stand on what I said, man. I know it was a lot going on at the time. I might have been a little, I had a little bit in me. So I meant what I said, though. So, yeah, I still got that mindset. Being serious, man. I really do believe in this team. We got a lot of playmakers around the team. We got a great, leadership role on the team, and I think we have every piece we need to get to where we want to go. So.
Do you remember even saying that, or when you sobered up?
I'm not gonna lie, I was faded. I ain't gonna lie, I was faded. Like, I ain't know what was going on, but I know I was. Before I went down, I was thinking about us. So when I got back up, I want to say that was the first thing I just thought of. So. Yeah, shout out to my mom and my girlfriend for shutting the live off. But, yeah, man, I meant what I said, though.
What's been the toughest part about just watching and sitting around?
Really just, I don't know, honestly. I enjoy watching the guys. It wasn't really hard for me to watch. It was just really hard not being able. Like, I had to piss in the cup for a few days. Like, it was a lot of stuff that I went through, but really just watching. I enjoy watching the guys all the time, no matter what, through the hard or good times. It's just good seeing those guys out there, making plays, flying around, and, putting it all on the line.
Jaden, we only get to watch, the stretch on Fridays at practice.
Yeah.
Can you give us just a little description of kind of what you did at practice?
I ran some routes. That's all I got, really. Okay. Ran some routes.
You were flying around there in that pre-practice, though.
Oh, I did. Hey, you seen it better than I did, so yeah.
So Vrabel said yesterday that you can hit the ground running. Again, we're not asking or assuming that you're going to play on Sunday, but and then put the medical aside. Just how long do you think it would take you to shake off the rust and feel like that you're game ready? Again, never mind the medical stuff, just the rest of it.
I've been working through some things for a while. Like, I've been running for a while, to be honest, for a few weeks now. So I don't think a condition standpoint is a problem or anything like that. Definitely helps, getting team reps and stuff like that. But I'm on year 3 now, so it's not really any excuses for that. So me being a leader is how I view myself. I got to be prepared for whatever. So.
Jaden, I feel like you're a pretty introspective guy generally, but being away from the game you love for as long as you were there any things that kind of crossed your mind or that appreciation-wise or anything like that?
Yeah, man, you just gotta appreciate when you're out there, man. Like, you never know when it's your last snap. That was like the first time I got surgery, and I got 2 surgeries. So, yeah, this is a serious game we play, and, you know, it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and, you know, it can get to your mental sometime as well. So, like, you got to take care of that kind of stuff. I'm just glad I had all the right people around me to, you know, keep me in the right mindset and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I know you believe in all your guys,
Yep.
and there's been good moments for the offense, but you did lead this team in receiving each of your first 2 years here. What do you think you guys are capable of doing? You've got Christian back, now you're coming back.
Hey, man, I think we got the full package, man. We got the best rookie receiver in the draft, in my opinion, and Savion and Matthew. We got the 2 best rookie receivers, in my opinion. You know, we got Wicks, man. Nobody run routes like Wicks. Nobody can run like Nine. Nobody can catch like Rome. Nobody can make acrobatic plays like Malik. We just got so many playmakers. Like, even Bo coming off the other side of the ball, man, you could throw him in there, he can make a play. I can name everybody in the room that, you know, can contribute in so many different ways. So it's just great seeing those guys going out there and do what they do. So I'm just excited to, you know, see it all come together for this run we got to make. So, yep.
How encouraging
The play you hurt your shoulder.
Yep.
How tough a catch was that?
It was kind of hard. The ball was settling a little weird, but, you know, J Love always put it to where you can make a play. So, you know, I just got to run under that and make the catch, really. So I just really took more focus than anything.
How encouraging has it been just seeing Christian come back and then Tay came back, and it seems like everyone's going to be at the right time?
No doubt, man. It felt like the OG days, like when we got to running in our rookie year towards the back end of it. That's kind of how I looked at it, man. Like, we kind of getting rolling, you know, towards the back end of the season. And I'm just excited, like I said, to see it all come together, man. Like, I know we got the ability and all the things we need to, you know, make it happen.
You just complimented everybody under the sun, but you feel like you're the missing piece to this thing now that you're back, or getting close to being back?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely a piece that can help the team, man. I just hound myself on, like, bringing juice. I always say, if you juiceless, you useless. So, like, whether you're on the field, off the field, just bringing juice, you know, bringing energy within the team. I'm just one of those guys, man. I like to be more of a team player than, you know, just a good teammate than being a good player. You know, I'm more of being a great person than a great player. So.
Excited about Toyotathon Jordan Love?
Oh, yeah, that's always going to come out, man. You just got to stay patient for it, so it's here now.
I was just going to say, now that you're back, can you not take our jobs in the YouTube content game?
Oh, yeah, my bad, man, my bad. Yeah, I got y'all, man. I got y'all. Y'all can have it. I got to stay locked in now. Maybe a few, but I'll let you have the rest.
When you looked at what you've done in these 4 games, I know you wanted to hit the ground running. Did you hit it running even better than you could have hoped, or how do you kind of view it?
I mean, I didn't really set, you know, any expectations for myself, you know, going into it. I just wanted to, you know, just go out there and play. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that, like, I exceeded any expectations. Obviously, you know, I'm grateful, you know, to have, you know, had the success for sure. But, I mean, obviously, too, I know, you know, what I'm capable of doing, you know, when I'm out there. So, I'm just grateful, but yeah, and I mean, definitely, you know, blessed to be able to make an impact in the games I've been out there for sure. It's big. It's big. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, Jay Reed is a big part of our offense. So you know, the quicker he can hit the ground running and you know, get out there with us, the better the team will be.
Have you talked to him at all, just as far as how he's doing, and I mean, just how he kind of handled this whole thing the last couple of months?
Yeah, no, I have. I mean, he's handled it really well. You know, obviously it's tough anytime you have to, you know, miss, you know, any time, but you know, especially, you know, an extended period of time. So you know, I know just not being out there with us has been tough, but I mean, Bird's always, you know, in the right mindset. You know, he's always, you know, a positive guy, so he's been good throughout the process.
As someone who's dealt with an injury, how encouraging is it to get to start getting guys back and realize that you guys can be healthy toward the end of the season?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, we need everybody. So, the more pieces we can get back, the better team will be.
This Vikings defense, what stands out about them? What do you guys need to try to capitalize on to get by them?
I mean, we just got to, stick to the plan. I think we got a good plan in place to be successful. We just got to stick by, don't try to do too much. Just, go out there and, do what's called.
I'm Micah Parsons, and this is My Cause, My Cleats. I think these cleats just kind of represent, who I am. I'm a family first type of guy. I always believe in staying humble. That's just always about, walking with my faith, staying humble. That's it, Micah 6'8". And just, being a representation of me. Someone that's, I would say quiet, but when he's out there in the field, a little bit more loud and ferocious type. My cause is mainly off of just providing opportunity for the youth, inspiring and being mentorship and helping others. I probably had 9 moms in my life. Like, I didn't have just one mom. It's a village, and I'm just happy to be a part of someone's village and always be a mentor to others, like being someone that believes in someone else as those who believed in me.
Getting together at Lambeau Field, the annual meeting between the Vikings and Packers in Wisconsin, border war. Vikings 4-6. They've lost 2 in a row after getting what seemed to be a signature win in Detroit. The Packers 6-3-1. They beat the Giants in somewhat sluggish fashion on both sides of the ball after losing 2 in a row at home. Green Bay is favored by 6.5 with an over-under of 41.5. Do you want me to go first?
Well, yeah, of course. I like it. And today, you've threaded the needle, on 3 games so far? I mean, you're like the grandma knitting on the chair all day long here.
I got the where you do the
yeah, right.
All right. Okay, so the J.J. McCarthy story is fascinating to me. He's got clear mechanical flaws that cause him to miss passes.
Yes.
And I think he's thinking too much. I think he's got too much to think about. I watched his press conference yesterday, and he talked about how he's basically relearning the entire quarterback position, rewiring his brain to play quarterback the way Kevin O'Connell wants him to. And the balance is getting him up to speed in the offense versus doing what works
right.
to win a given game.
Right.
And they're so close to being done that I'm assuming that this week's game plan will be, let's just do the stuff that he can do, and let's find a way to capture the magic when he stops thinking. I think the reason we see him catch fire late in a game is there's no time to think anymore.
I hear you there.
I have to just go do.
Right.
When they play with tempo, they need to use tempo more often. They need to run the ball more often. They need to not let him think too much while he's learning all of this. He said yesterday he's like a cork about to pop off of a bottle. Okay, fine, let's see it. But this is an opportunity in a spot where they're not favored, where they're not expected to win, and the storm clouds are around them. This is a classic 2025 Vikings win the game, and everybody's like, I didn't see that coming. 24-20, Vikings win. J.J. McCarthy has the kind of day that makes us think the cork has come out of the bottle, and then next week the cork's going to go back in the bottle.
Well, I hear you. Like, right? I mean, I wrote on my first thing I wrote, if the Vikings had better QB play, I'd pick them to win the upset or win the game this week and pull off the upset. Because I don't trust the Packers either. I mean, you just heard me talk about when we were talking about the Giants game. I mean, the Packers' inability to get off the field, I mean, it's incredible. It really is. Their defense and their secondary can just never seem to make the play in that moment to shut down a receiver, cause an incompletion, do anything like that, right? I don't trust the Packers' offense either. That's even worse. I don't trust them. I mean, as you've heard me say a number of times over the last few weeks, if it's not man-to-man and we can just throw the ball up that way, basically, they can't make a play right now in their offense. You know, it's another one where I'll sit here, as much as I love Jordan Love and I see a lot of top-end play, I just go, why did they jump? Why did they get out in front of $55 million, him, Tua, Trevor Lawrence? I mean, why did they negotiate against themselves? All to prove that we got got the quarterback. We're going to show you that I made the right decision. We got the quarterback. So we're going to ruin our team and pay him a lot of money and way more money than anybody else would pay him. So that's another one there that, yeah, his game's got to pick up. And the defense can't play man-to-man in tough situations. So I worry about that with a team like you guys and Addison and Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson. That's scary too, right? But all in all, I just don't trust the Vikings, but would not be shocked if they pulled off the upset. I'm going to go Packers 24-17, so I'm along the same lines of thinking of you here. I just can't quite pull the trigger like you can.
You know, I'll no longer wonder why Brian Gutekunst avoids both of us when we're at a Packers game about Jordan Love's contract. But you're right. They should have a Malik Willis package. They won't do it because they have to prove that Jordan Love's the guy. But you're right. Jordan Love has too many lapses in big moments, and he had that moment last week where, you know, against the Giants, the team that currently is the shining example of protecting your quarterback. Right. He should have slid. He didn't. He took a big hit. He was out of the game. Malik Willis comes in and reminds us he can play at a high level.
This weekend goes down between the Vikings and the Packers. And Seth, being such a staunch supporter of the Chicago Bears, we're just going to hold your hand right over this flame and make you go first on this game.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything good about the Packers. I won't do it. I won't do it. But what I will say is that the Minnesota Vikings defense is legit. That is a legit Brian Flores-led defense, and they are going to give the Packers fits. The Packers are going to have to start making some plays, man. They're going to have to get some offensive identity. I don't know. LaFleur seems like he's lost it. I don't know what's going on in Green Bay. They're going to have to get right, and I don't know if this is going to be the game for them.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't talk about the Green Bay Packers defense and that front. And J.J. McCarthy has struggled a little bit in his second year in the league. And now you have guys like Michael Parsons that's coming after you that you know late in the fourth quarter that number one is going to start getting his thing. So I really, really like the Packers on this, but I love Justin Jefferson and the way that he's handled himself because we saw how a frustrated wide receiver what he can do. He hasn't demonstrated that. He's been very classy in it.
Yeah, and J.J. McCarthy, I mean, he's getting a chance to get comfortable, but I don't think the Green Bay Packers are going to let them get comfortable. I look to Green Bay Packers getting the run game with their backup Wilson.
It's going to be fun no matter what. The last couple of times the Packers and the Vikings have played, game decided by 2 points.
To another edition of Vikings Film Room, brought to you by the Vikings Entertainment Network, right here in beautiful TCO Studios. Well, when I think back on my professional career, I think about October 5th, 1998, going into Lambeau Field, huge underdogs, and coming away with a win 37-24. Now, the Vikings are going to have a challenge just like that. What are they going to have to do to go into Lambeau Field and come away with the victory? Well, let's dig into the film and find out what the Vikings are up against. Now, when you dive into this Packer offense, the first thing you got to look at is Jordan Love. And personally, I think Jordan Love is much better when he's on the move. Let me show you some examples of what I'm talking about. On this first play, it's going to be a regular dash where you're just getting the quarterback out on the edge of the defense, cutting the field in half, making things a little bit more simple, right? That's a programmed dash for him to get to the outside. However, this is where it's supposed to go, running back in the flat. The quarterback is supposed to be able to continue outside uninterrupted. However, he's getting some pressure, and what you don't see is this guy, the wide receiver, coming across the middle of the field. Jordan Love, after being disrupted, is able to put his foot in the ground, avoid contact, get back up, and get the football to the wide receiver. Ultimately, this one was dropped, but that's not on Jordan Love. Another type of play that gets the quarterback on the move is the bootleg. Jordan Love executes these brilliantly. You see the beginning, extra tight ends, right? Big, looks like they're going to run the football. Ends up being play action, Watson in the backfield. Now watch when Love gets to the top of his drop. This is ideally when the ball wants to be let go. But look at this. The wide receiver is being covered, but he's being covered by a linebacker, right? Watch Jordan Love on this. He has such unbelievable feel. Instead of throwing the football now, where it might be batted down, he just waits and holds it, doesn't get to the line of scrimmage, and waits until the receiver gets past the linebacker. So when this ball is let go, you can see this relationship. Receiver past the linebacker. He's getting into the flat, and by the time that ball gets there, boom, look at the separation. This gives the receiver the opportunity to do what? Turn this thing up, and it's all because of the legs and the timing of Jordan Love. The other thing that mobility gets you, it's making plays when the play breaks down. This is what scares me the most going against a guy like Jordan Love, the ability to make things up. He and his wide receivers being on the same page. Again, big people in the game. Get the hard downhill run fake. As Jordan Love gets to the top of his drop, there is absolutely nowhere to go. This deep over route, you've got 2 defenders underneath it. This route down at the bottom is triangulated. They got a corner on the outside, safety on top, linebacker on it. There's nowhere for Jordan Love to throw this football. So what does he do? He starts moving around, buying some time, and watch the receiver. As soon as Jordan Love started to scramble, he worked his way out into the flat. A huge gain on a nothing play because Jordan Love can use his legs. Another example of Jordan Love using his legs to get his receivers open. This is a 1st and 20 play. So the Giants are in, they're in an umbrella style of defense. They're gonna keep everything in front of them. Watch what's called right here, though. You get the empty snap. This is just a curl on the backside here by Romeo Doubs. Jordan Love throws his football, he might get 4, 5 yards, maybe. But Jordan Love sees an opening in the protection. What does he do? He starts to step up. And why is he doing that? He's doing that to put pressure on the defender that's covering Doubs. That guy's going to have to make a decision. Do I go for the quarterback? Do I cover Doubs? And then on top of it, Doubs says, you know what? I'm just going to pirouette, get behind this defender, and I'm going to get back 13 of the 20 yards that we want to get. So again, Jordan Love making plays with his legs. Now, one of the things that's different about this Packers team, Christian Watson is back. And it's been a while since we've really had to worry about him per se due to injury and other things. He was on fire over the weekend. Let me show you what I'm talking about. On this first play, goal line play, you're going to get a play action, quarterback's rolling out. You see Watson in the back of the end zone, comes down with the catch. Pretty good catch, right? But wait until you see this from the end zone. Now, you're going to see Watson coming into the picture on the right side of your screen. You fake the dive. Watson working to the back of the end zone. He's trying to set up. Hard to tell if this ball is supposed to go to the crosser or to Watson on the curl. You've got a pile of bodies. The DB in the air just might have tipped the football. You couldn't tell. So this ball could have been touched by 2, maybe 3 guys before it gets through, hits Watson right. What concentration on the on a week of drops all across the NFL. Christian Watson coming up big with that catch in the back of the end zone. Whenever we're talking about Christian Watson, it's his ability to get vertical and how the Packers integrate that into their play-action passing game. That's a huge problem. Before the ball is snapped, however, take a look at what you have. You have a number of Packers right here. You have a tackle, tight end, wide receiver, inside the tight end. They're piling up bodies there. Why? To make it look like a run. And conversely, look at the Giants. They've got a ton of white jerseys all piled up on a line of scrimmage. But it's all a ruse. It's all to get behind him. So watch what happens. Jordan Love takes the snap, play fake, gets to the top of his drop, and it worked out brilliantly. The linebackers, the underneath coverage, they're all still hovering at the line of scrimmage. And what do you see? This right here. Wide open lane. This corner is in a position of weakness because he's outside shade. This safety back here, he can't do anything to help. You have this whole entire wide open side of the field, all because of how you set this thing up. Watson with that speed, he gets in the open. You're not going to catch him from behind. Easy throw and catch for a first down. And finally, Watson on the game-winning touchdown reception. This here is a route as old as time. What do I mean by that? You see Watson in the slot. You have a tight end on the outside. All they're doing is reading what this defensive back does, and the fact that he's rolled up gives you a clue. That means this guy is going to sit once that tight end on the outside runs a stop route. So what does that open? That opens this entire area back here. We run this route. Every team runs this route. It's the best way for a slot receiver to get vertical and get to the corner of the end zone. And again, they execute it brilliantly. You see Watson on the outside. The corner tries to fall off. But look at this. There are 3 giant defenders in the area. Somehow, a beautiful throw by Jordan Love. And that is your game winner for the Green Bay Packers. Now, defensively for the Packers, the biggest change, of course, is Micah Parsons. And it's changing a lot of what they do, more 4-man fronts. But Micah Parsons is still a force to be reckoned with. On this play, 4th and 4, the Giants in the Packers' red zone. They need pressure. They get it from Micah Parsons. And just watch him in the power and the speed coming from the outside. As soon as he hits this tackle, here's the difference between a good pass rusher and a great one. A good pass rusher is going to take this edge and go all the way around on the outside. But what does Parsons do? No. Right there at that point, he is going to go straight to the quarterback in the pocket. He's going to lower those hips. Look at that long arm, full body extension. Low pads wins, pushes that tackle right back into the quarterback, makes him scramble, and then he's athletic enough to ricochet off and make the sack. Micah Parsons is a guy you need to be worried about. Because Micah Parsons is on the field and they're going to a four-man front more, you're going to see a lot of the linebackers. In this case, right here. Watch Quay Walker, right here. Isaiah McDuffie, right here. And Edgerrin Cooper. How well these guys play together. They're very, very good against the run. They're very, very good blitzers. And on this goal line play, they play it brilliantly. Watch how these three triangulate each other, just like they're supposed to do. As this ball's getting downhill, you're noticing the defensive line is eating up all these offensive linemen. And what does that leave? That leaves three linebackers. Quay Walker, inside out. Edgerrin Cooper taking on the fullback, and Isaiah McDuffie there to run through and pick this thing up. Ends up being a tackle for loss on a goal line play. So in football, much like in life, what makes you laugh can also make you cry. These downhill linebackers leave some opportunities in the underneath zones. What am I talking about? I'll show you right here. The Packers in a basic middle open type coverage. And in middle open, you relate to your receivers. Quay Walker is really fixated on this running back out of the backfield. The problem is what's happening behind him. As Jack Del Rio would always say, don't bite the cheese. Something shallow, something deep. And you can see it forming right here as this wide receiver has all kinds of room to get to the middle of the field. I mean, this is just waiting to be taken advantage of. Good throw, great catch, nobody within 7 yards of him. We could take advantage of this Packers zone defense underneath. Another type of route that works well against zones are the deep crossing routes. And we've done this before. The Vikings have done this to Green Bay many, many times, and the Giants are able to do this here. What are you gonna get? You're just gonna get a deep crossing route. So whatever happens, whether it's man or zone, you can see this developing right here. One receiver coming this way, the other receiver going this way. So if it's man, you can run a pick off each other. But what you're getting is really, look at this. It's a cloud type situation. The corner, he's settling because of the route coming his way. The middle safety is 10 yards off of this. And all it does is leave a huge open area right here. So J.J. McCarthy, just find the holes in the zones and wait for the receiver to get there. Because again, an uncontested catch by the New York Giants with the crossing routes deep in zones. Still don't believe me? How about a play action example of what I'm talking about right here? Okay, play action on the front side, quarterback gets to the top of his drop. I mean, this is the perfect spot, right? You have four Packer defenders, one on top, one on the outside, one underneath, one in the hook, but they still leave that gigantic hole in the middle. This takes the quarterback a long time to get there. This ball should already be on its way. He should anticipate this turn-in being open, but he waits a second, still gets there in time for the catch and the first down. And finally, this is it, the dagger for the Green Bay Packers, if you will. Watch Evan Williams, the safety on the bottom, and I'm going to give you a little something at the end of this. This ends up being an interception for Green Bay. And as you get right here at this point, okay, a couple of things. First of all, Valentine, the corner, is too shallow. He's hugging up on this underneath receiver thinking it's going to be a pass for a first down. But what do you have up top? You've got a receiver and Evan Williams one-on-one. Now, Williams is smart. He knows what's coming, so he's already going to be working his way to the sideline, and you can see him do it right here. He's already on his way. The difference, however, is in our offense, we can give this receiver the option to run the corner or the post. Look at this. If this receiver puts his foot in the ground and works toward the post, he's wide open for the touchdown. But because the Packers were smart, Evan Williams knew what route he was going to get. He knew what the underneath. He was going to get the 7 behind it. He's able to just cut that off, play the ball, not the receiver, and come down with the game-winning reception. So overall, Jordan Love, he's really, really good on the move. Micah Parsons, got to have somebody on him. You have to know where he is at all times and then take advantage of what they give you in the underneath passing game, and you might just come out of Lambeau Field a winner.
Place that used to be so familiar. How's it feel going back home now?
Definitely excited to go back. Last time I was there was welcomed with much love, and that's always appreciated. So anytime I get to go back, it feels like a full circle moment, and just to take time to realize the path that I've been on this journey, and all that it's taken and what more it's going to take.
Would you guys characterize this week as a must-win week for you guys?
I feel like every week is a must-win now. So, I mean, you'll get that urgency from me and spreading that around to the guys. But as far as pressing, I feel like we don't need to necessarily press anymore, because that's when guys start to press, they feel like they got to do more than their job, and everybody just has to do their job.
Kind of a random one here, but I think Emmanuel Wilson in Green Bay had said that you always told him that you thought he belonged. What was it about him that you felt like he did belong?
Just his work ethic. Like when he would get his opportunities, what he would do with the ball, he'd always make the most of every opportunity he got, whether it was one carry in a game, one carry in practice, or 5 or 10, whatever it may be. He would make the most of it, and you can tell that he was very hungry, always wanting to find ways to get better, coming to pick my brain. After every run, he's coming back talking to me, hey, what'd you see, what could I have done? Even in the meeting rooms, picking the brains, and just I remember kind of pretty clearly his first preseason game, and the first preseason game of the year. We went over 100. Like, it was just a special night, and it was cool for me, because it was like I had spoken life into him, and then for him to go out and do it. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with it, but just to instilling confidence in the guys around you and letting them know, hey, you belong, and especially him coming from a smaller school. And anytime I get a chance to have running backs around me in my room, I try to just instill as much confidence in them, because it's a league where they'll try to tear you down. So.
Aaron, how do you feel about the running game overall in the Bears game?
I feel like we got it going. The blocking unit did great. I ran the ball. I feel like I ran the ball well. JP ran the ball well. We came in, and I feel like early was kind of setting it up, and then later came the body blow. So like maybe early some of those 3, 4, 5 yard runs are gonna turn into 10, 12, 16 touchdowns as you continue to wear on those D linemen in the game, and I think that's one of our strong suits too. Our guys they don't necessarily tire quick. Like if we get in a hurry up, they're ready to go. If we're down, they're ready to go. No matter what situation, they're ready to go. So I think that helps as well.
Aaron, you talked about it last year, but how excited are you to try to get into the end zone in Green Bay this Sunday?
I think I'm even more excited about it this year than I was last year, because I didn't get in last year. So it's definitely something I got to smell the end zone, find a way to make it happen one way or another, and then get my leap in. In regulation instead of after regulation this time.
What do you think Micah Parsons has added to that defensive mix?
I think he's just, not to say he made him more hungry, because I got a lot of respect for Kenny Clark, and he was one of the leaders when I was there, and we're brothers, so not to say make him, but I guess a little younger. And then you get depth at the outside linebacker, pass rushing. I think before he got there it was Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary. Then you throw him in the mix, and it's like guys you having constant pressure, which they like. But I think he just gives them a sense of confidence as well when he's on the field. And when you have players like that, Justin Jefferson does that for us. You got Christian Darrisaw does that for us. So you have players like that as well.
Jordan Love in his first season, like what do you sort of learn, or what do you feel like is your role, responsibility when you have a brand new quarterback?
I feel like my goal and my responsibility is to make their job easier, but also echo to the 9 others. Yeah, because I'm 10, so that would be 11. Yeah, the 9 others. Sorry, that we got to make
his job easier. And once he's gotten some of those reps and some of those things, he's gonna make our jobs easier. But in the early stages, you got to make his job easier, and that's the same things that I echoed with Jordan when I was there in Green Bay with him. And is a matter of just like execution, like I said, the 111, catching what's thrown to you, and I've had a drop too, so I'm in that boat. But just making his life easier, because it doesn't all fall on him. If we execute and we handle some of those things, he wouldn't be getting looked at how he is.
Aaron, what's it like for you just seeing him struggle a bit and trying to work through it and figure it out?
I told JJ after the game I was proud of him. She heard me say it. Just that never quit. I've seen guys turn the ball over, maybe fumble the ball, and they get in a place where they can't go back on the field, or when they step back on the field, they're not themselves. And for him to always keep us in the game, or even give us a chance at the end where we go up and win it, that's what I'm most proud of. And he's not giving up. He's not quitting. He makes a mistake. He's holding himself accountable, and then he's coming on the sideline like, hey, I can't do that. And just we're talking about it. We know it's going to be is going to take reps. It's going to be some growth, and he's been doing it all year. But with him doing that all year, we're still in every game. We can win every game. So that's why I have the utmost confidence in JJ, and we can get this thing done. Thank you.
Are you kidding me with that catch, JJ? That's how you stand up. That's how you stand up. And that's the ball game. Touchdown, Vikings.
It's Border Battle Week. Welcome into Vikings Weekly. I'm your host, Tatum Everett from the Vikings Entertainment Network, and we are gearing up for the 127th regular season meeting between the Vikings and the Packers. Minnesota is 4-6 on the season, hoping to snap a 2-game losing skid and put themselves back into playoff position. Still to come on Vikings Weekly, everyone's favorite halftime game returned, and the mascots pull off an iconic moment you won't want to miss. Plus, head coach Kevin O'Connell joins us to give his insight on J.J. McCarthy's continued growth. And Pete Bercich shows us how Jordan Love's game has evolved and what needs to be done on Sunday to get a Vikings victory. Sunday marks J.J. McCarthy's 6th NFL start and first against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Much like when he was raising a young QB with the Packers, Aaron Jones has all the confidence in J.J. McCarthy. And McCarthy has similar feelings. He feels like he's on the doorstep of something great.
I feel like, for me, I kind of make the analogy of just like, a cork about to come off a bottle. Just understanding that it's, 1 to 3 little things that I need to change about my game that is going to make a huge difference in the outcome of every single drive in the game. So, yeah, I feel like it's really close, but it all comes down to the consistency of the fundamentals and the little details.
I feel like my goal and my responsibility is to make their job easier, but also echo to the 9 others. Yeah, because I'm 10, so that would be 11. Yeah, the 9 others, sorry. That we got to make his job easier. And once he's gotten some of those reps and some of those things, he's gonna make our jobs easier. But in the early stages, you got to make his job easier. And that's the same things that I echoed with Jordan when I was there in Green Bay with him. And is a matter of just like execution, like I said, the 111, catching what's thrown to you, and I've had a drop too, so I'm in that boat. But just making his life easier, because it doesn't all fall on him. If we execute and we handle some of those things, he wouldn't be getting looked at how he is.
Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell also has a lot of confidence in his young QB. He opened up to Paul Allen, the voice of the Vikings, in this week's episode of X's and O's to talk about the growth that JJ has made so far this season.
Coming up on his 6th start now. I think we're all just looking for continued, evidence of the growth that he can take some of the things he's working very hard on the practice field to make. As the phrase I've been using with him, we gotta start seeing this cement dry on some of the things that we've really worked hard to make football habits for him from a fundamentals and technique standpoint. I think something Vikings fans can look for is, when he gets to the top of his drops, we're really trying to see if we can get him to be a little bit more in a repeatable body position. And what I mean by that is the posture of, a firm but athletic kind of lower half. We don't really like when his feet get too far outside the framework of his body. And that happened a couple times the other day that contributed to maybe some of the accuracy. His feet got a little bit wide. His base got really wide. The other thing to really look for is when he looks decisive and kind of in the ground, compact, where he's not taking up a lot of space with his movements as he kind of goes from 1A to 1B or 1 to 2 before finding his checkdowns. When he's done it consistently, well, it's normally tied to it's got a look to it of firmness, but yet not tight and not rigid. And it kind of has a fluidity to it where he's then able to activate the arm talent from a standpoint of taking out a lot of variables. And I've talked to JJ a lot of the movement and a lot of the lack of stability to his lower half adds to a lot of variables to the play. Where you're trying to make this thing right with the ball leaving your fingertips. But, I would equate it to swinging a golf club, and sometimes you swing it with your left foot on the ground, sometimes you don't, sometimes you widen your stance really. You're never going to hit that golf ball the same way. And playing quarterback is about the variables that you can control. You've got to try to make it the same and repeatable every single time, because the difference between golf and any other sport is these guys are trying to rush 1,000 miles an hour and rip your face off. And you've got to stand in there and make some throws, sometimes take some hits, but all of the things before those scenarios start to take place throughout the rhythm of a play where we don't know what defense they're in always, and we don't know exactly where the completion's going to be. So you've got to control what you can control by doing your fundamentals and techniques repeatable the same way and take out some of those variables that are making his job harder than it has to be when we lose some of that focus throughout games.
I'd like to play a game called Coach's Choice. You select the topic, and here are the categories. You okay?
Sure.
Here we go. Your categories are the long play, full throttle feel, the other kid, cash money, and getting the edge. Which one would you like, Coach O'Connell?
Let's start backwards. Let's go getting the edge.
Getting the edge. Packers linebacker Edgerrin Cooper is who you get this weekend. He had some part-time to him last year, and this year has started all 10 for them. Edgerrin Cooper, I know you were a fan last year, probably still are this year. Has his role changed much with Micah Parsons in the mix?
I don't know if it's changed much, but you're just seeing him. You're seeing him on the field more on all downs, all 3 downs, first, second, third down. He's a very, very athletic run and hit linebacker that seems to be getting better and better with the more snaps he gets. And I think with Eric Wilson came here, and E. Will was kind of a foundational piece, kind of filling in some different spots, but then ended up getting a lot of playing time just because of his consistency and doing his job within that defense last year. But I think edge is kind of you really look at it and you see Cooper being a guy that you're seeing more trust put into him, you're seeing more playmaking, and he's just being on the field more is allowing him to gain some experience at a pretty rapid pace, and he's starting to become a really, really good player. But I've always been a fan of his, even going back to the draft.
Plenty more where that came from on Vikings.com or at the Vikings app. Also located there, PA's partner in crime on the radio, Pete Bercich, did what he does best this week, dive into the film room and break down the matchup. Packers quarterback Jordan Love is on pace to set career numbers, and Pete shows us why.
When you dive into this Packer offense, the first thing you got to look at is Jordan Love. And personally, I think Jordan Love is much better when he's on the move. Let me show you some examples of what I'm talking about. On this first play, it's going to be a regular dash where you're just getting the quarterback out on the edge of the defense, cutting the field in half, making things a little bit more simple, right? That's a program dash for him to get to the outside. However, this is where it's supposed to go. Running back in the flat, the quarterback is supposed to be able to continue outside uninterrupted. However, he's getting some pressure, and what you don't see is this guy, a wide receiver, coming across the middle of the field. Jordan Love, after being disrupted, is able to put his foot in the ground, avoid contact, get back up, and get the football to the wide receiver. Ultimately, this one was dropped, but that's not on Jordan Love. Another type of play that gets the quarterback on the move is the bootleg. Jordan Love executes these brilliantly. You see the beginning, extra tight ends, right? Big, looks like they're gonna run the football. Ends up being play action, Watson in the backfield. Now watch when Love gets to the top of his drop. This is ideally when the ball wants to be let go. But look at this. The wide receiver is being covered, but he's being covered by a linebacker, right? Watch Jordan Love on this. He has such unbelievable feel. Instead of throwing the football now, where it might be batted down, he just waits and holds it, doesn't get to the line of scrimmage, and waits until the receiver gets past the linebacker. So when this ball is let go, you can see this relationship. Receiver past the linebacker. He's getting into the flat, and by the time that ball gets there, boom, look at the separation. This gives the receiver the opportunity to do what? Turn this thing up, and it's all because of the legs and the timing of Jordan Love. The other thing that mobility gets you, it's making plays when the play breaks down. This is what scares me the most going against a guy like Jordan Love, the ability to make things up. He and his wide receivers being on the same page. Again, big people in the game, get the hard downhill run fake. As Jordan Love gets to the top of his drop, there's absolutely nowhere to go. This deep over route, you've got two defenders underneath it. This route down at the bottom is triangulated. They got a corner on the outside, safety on top, linebacker in it. There's nowhere for Jordan Love to throw this football. So what does he do? He starts moving around, buying some time, and watch the receiver. As soon as Jordan Love started to scramble, he worked his way out into the flat. A huge gain on a nothing play because Jordan Love can use his legs. Another example of Jordan Love using his legs to get his receivers open. This is a 1st and 20 play. So the Giants are in, they're in an umbrella style of defense. They're gonna keep everything in front of them. Watch what's called right here, though. You get the empty snap. This is just a curl on the backside here by Romeo Doubs. Jordan Love throws his football, he might get 4, 5 yards, maybe. But Jordan Love sees an opening in the protection. What does he do? He starts to step up. And why is he doing that? He's doing that to put pressure on the defender that's covering Doubs. That guy's gonna have to make a decision. Do I go for the quarterback? Do I cover Doubs? And then on top of it, Doubs says, you know what? I'm just gonna pirouette, get behind this defender, and I'm gonna get back 13 of the 20 yards that we wanna get. So again, Jordan Love making plays with his legs. Now, one of the things that's different about this Packers team, Christian Watson is back. And it's been a while since we've really had to worry about him per se due to injury and other things. He was on fire over the weekend. Let me show you what I'm talking about. On this first play, goal line play, you're gonna get a play action, quarterback's rolling out, you see Watson in the back of the end zone, comes down with the catch. Pretty good catch, right? But wait until you see this from the end zone. Now you're gonna see Watson coming into the picture on the right side of your screen. You fake the dive. Watson working to the back of the end zone. He's trying to set up. Hard to tell if this ball is supposed to go to the crosser or to Watson on the curl. You've got a pile of bodies. The DB in the air just might have tipped the football. You couldn't tell. So this ball could have been touched by 2, maybe 3 guys before it gets through, hits Watson right. What concentration on the on a week of drops all across the NFL. Christian Watson coming up big with that catch in the back of the end zone. Whenever we're talking about Christian Watson, it's his ability to get vertical and how the Packers integrate that into their play action passing game. That's a huge problem. Before the ball is snapped, however, take a look at what you have. You have a number of Packers right here. You have a tackle, tight end, wide receiver, inside the tight end. They're piling up bodies there. Why? To make it look like a run. And conversely, look at the Giants. They've got a ton of white jerseys all piled up on a line of scrimmage. But it's all a ruse. It's all to get behind them. So watch what happens. Jordan Love takes a snap.
You can catch more with Pete on Vikings.com or the Vikings app, especially how the Vikings offense should approach Micah Parsons and this Green Bay defense. Well, who doesn't love a mascot game? It's probably one of my favorite things, my favorite halftime shows, and I can't wait to show you what happened on Sunday. The Mascots had tough competition against the Spring Lake 5th grade tackle football team, but Victor the Viking and his pals ready for the challenge. The Mascots with the ball first. Victor, back to pass, rolling to his right, takes a shot to the end zone. He finds a wide open Rowdy from the Dallas Cowboys, and the Mascots take an early lead. Yeehaw! On the next drive, Spring Lake within striking distance. He gets a nice block from Rory. PK Loon can't stop him, and the kids are on the board. Spring Lake with a beautifully executed play. Check out that block. They hit pay dirt and tie things up. The Mascot game featured a mystery guest, McDonald's Grimace. He takes the handoff from Victor up the middle. It takes 4 guys to take him down. Wow, what a guy. He puts the Mascots in great scoring position. So naturally at the line, it's the tush push. Absolutely incredible. Victor in, following PK Loon with a huge block, and the tush push works every time. Spring Lake has one last try. Victor the Viking forces a fumble. They try to take it outside, but Goldie the Gopher is there, denying it. And the Mascots go on to victory. However, everyone wins in this game. It's all about fun at the end of the day. Thank you so much to the Spring Lake 5th grade football tackle team and our Mascots. Still to come on Vikings Weekly, Dallas Turner opens up about how things have changed for him in year 2. We check in with the funny guys at the tailgate to hear their hilarious takes on rivalry week. And Vikings legend Anthony Barr shows us his favorite game in the purple. Stick around. Welcome back into Vikings Weekly. I'm your host, Tatum Everett, and if you like a rivalry, you're in luck because it's Packers Week. Head coach Kevin O'Connell is 4-2 against Green Bay and swept them last season. It was actually outside linebacker Dallas Turner's first trip to Lambeau Field, and it made a mark. Now he gets to return, coming off his best performance of his career.
Speaking of that defense and getting after it, you're looking at Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner is their first-round pick from 2 years ago. He is extremely athletic.
He gets swarmed immediately for nothing.
He is big, fast, very fluid in space.
Dallas Turner gets the first Viking sack of the day.
Well, a big performance from you on Sunday. Quite the stat line. Some would say breakout. How would you describe it?
You know, just another weekend for another opportunity to go out there on Sundays and, you know, just execute at a high level within the scheme of the defense that we run.
7 tackles, 3 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for a loss, a sack, and a pass defended. And that was just from you. What about this game in particular clicked?
Coaches, you know, just a regular week, you know, same old meetings in the morning, same old afternoon routine and stuff like that. It just so happened to be that game, you know, where stuff started flying and stuff, so.
Was there a play on Sunday that you think you'll remember the most?
Probably missing a sack.
Oh no, you get that stat line and that's the one?
Yeah, probably missing a sack, yeah.
In some trouble. Stays on his feet again. Dallas Turner had him in his grasp.
It's regular to perform at a high standard here. So, you know, just having Coach Flo, you know, in our ears all the time telling us about the standard is always being the standard. Being a Minnesota Viking, the standard is always high. And, you know, every single day we walk into this building trying to fulfill that high standard. So I feel like that's just the mindset going into each day and then leading into Sundays when it's time to execute.
What is something you did this week to capitalize on the momentum of last game?
Talk to that Lord and Savior every single day. You know, I feel like that's probably my biggest thing, you know, is my faith with God. You know, knowing without him I'm nothing. And, you know, just talking to him consistently throughout the day, you know, and just understanding what I need to do as a person, you know, how I can better my teammates and better my spirit, you know, so I can elevate the spirits around me.
Well, Dallas Turner obviously feels what it's like to be a part of the Vikings-Packers rivalry, and so do the guys in our next segment. Comedians Cy Amundsen and Chad Daniels reflect on being involved in this biannual rivalry each and every year in the latest episode of The Tailgate.
Can I ask you a question about Lambeau?
Please.
Because begrudgingly, I think we can both admit, such a cool place.
It's great. Yeah.
It's the closest maybe this is a dumb comparison, but it's the closest you get to the English soccer vibe, where a tiny town of a few tens of thousands has a giant stadium and a team. That's what it feels like. It's so incredible. But the question I always have, and I always ask when I meet somebody from Green Bay or who lives there, like, in today's modern age with how big it's all become, how do you experience that? Because you and I, Alexandria, Fergus Falls, my dad's from Detroit Lakes. We're right near Detroit Lakes, and we know what it's like when WeFest comes to Detroit Lakes.
Right.
And I know a guy who told me once, he's like, I would rather eat my own foot than be in Detroit Lakes during WeFest. And I wonder, I mean, you either have to lean one way or another. If the Vikings move to Fergus Falls, and you still live there, are you loving every minute of that, or do you want to get out of Fergus Falls and travel to where the Vikings play? Would you love a pro team in your tiny, small town?
No, because too many people come. So, even in the summertime, have a little cabin up there. There's a town called Battle Lake that has, I think 8,000 people in it. No, that's way too big, maybe. I mean, we might be talking about even hundreds of people in it. And then in the summertime, it's 30,000 people.
Yes.
And so that's too much because you never know. You don't get to vet who's coming. No one has to fill out an application to get into the town, and I'm not into it.
It would be, of the imagination scenarios of ways you could get rich, I do think one of the cool ways would be like, we just owned a couple of houses in Green Bay kind of near the stadium, and then 20 years later we were like, well, let's go buy a palace and retire somewhere. Like, that's all-time real estate, because those houses, and they're like, that is one of the cooler parts of the vibe, is just walking past that row of houses that are all partying and tailgating. That feels so authentic and unique, where you're like, that's a neighborhood, that's a stadium, and Chad could probably hit both of them with a baseball.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And speaking of owning things and the Packers, boy, did their fans love to tell you that they own the team. But when you say, hey, call down to the field and let's run this one, they don't have any access to that. So you don't own anything. Let's just stop it. They gave you a certificate so you could feel important.
You can find that episode of The Tailgate anywhere you listen to your podcast, as well as the Vikings app or Vikings.com. Another person who knows this rivalry very well is former Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr, who recently retired. He took a look back at some of his best performances in the purple, and it may not surprise you, but his favorite game of all was a Packers game.
Have enough time. Out of bounds, and that's going to take us, unless Aaron can spike it here.
Can't spike it.
That's going to do it. It's also fourth down.
This is probably my favorite game I ever played in. 2015-16 season, playing up at Lambeau, winner wins the NFC North and gets a home playoff game. He snaps at 0, the game's over, but we're playing in Lambeau, so obviously they're gonna bend the rules a bit, maybe a lot. And we didn't even get a chance to really call this defense because it was a hurry up play by them, so the awareness of our guys, and he throws such a good ball, let alone a Hail Mary that's just completely on the money. All I'm thinking is don't be on SportsCenter for the wrong reasons. Let's please get out of this with a win. We worked so hard to get to this point. Let's not try and be a hero. Let's just go knock it down. It does look like I'm trying to catch it, actually. So I was trying to be a hero. But fortunately, it hits the ground before their guys catches it, and Vikings win.
And the Minnesota Vikings are NFC North Division champions!
I think maybe not since this play, but for the last while, I feel like we've been very competitive with these guys, neck and neck. It's not going to be the typical Vikings or the typical Packers cakewalk through the divisions. Like, we're here, we're for real. We're a real team. We're going to be here for a while. There's no reason why we can't do it again this year.
Anthony Barr shares more of his favorite moments as a Viking at Vikings.com or the Vikings app. And you can also catch up on anything for Sunday's matchup there as well, because it's going to be a big one, another rivalry game. Packers and Vikings from Lambeau Field, Sunday at noon on Fox. Thanks for watching, and Skol Vikings.
One more
most excited to be back at Lambeau and have a new opportunity to go out there and get a dub in front of the home crowd.
Every time we get to play in front of, this community, it means a lot to us.
This is an important division game, so we got to be focused and locked in.
And winning NFC North is, I think, the most important thing that we need as a team to be focused on.
Winning the division is something that's been a blank check mark, in the 7 years that I've been playing football.
It always starts with the NFC North and trying to get back on top of that. Winning the division, you control your own destiny after that. Very important and something that we, have right in front of us.
Wakes me up from my sleep, my eyes are